Hi, my name is Stewart Whicker and I'm the host of Flow Mindsets. Flow Mindsets is a show about interviewing interesting and extraordinary people. Today I'm going to be talking with Derek Garland, who is a personal friend of mine, and we're going to be talking about his story from a fall at work to surgery and suffering chronic pain on a daily basis. So I hope you enjoy the interview, and if you do, please subscribe. I hope to do many more of these interviews and interview amazing people just like Derek. Thanks for watching. Derek Garland, thank you for joining me for Flow Mindsets.
No worries.
So tell me a little bit about your story. You used to be an elite athlete in water polo.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about the beginnings.
That come through as a young kid. I suffered with asthma, very bad asthma, and the doctors told my parents that they had to put him in the pool to swim to develop his lungs. So, long story short, here I no longer suffer with asthma because of that, but because of the swimming, I become good at it. And when I got to high school, they had a team sport called water polo, which my family had never heard of before, and we went on, and yeah, it was really good times for me.
So what's the highest level?
Oh, okay, yeah, I was in the Australian team for 2 years. Yeah, enjoyed it, travelled the world, lots of fun.
Tell me a bit more about your early childhood growing up in Tamworth.
Yep.
And what was it like, aspiring to be an elite athlete?
Well, as a kid, I never actually had that in mind, and even when I was playing water polo, I didn't think I was an elite athlete. I was just a young kid having a lot of fun.
You got very close to getting into the Olympics.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I was in the Australian team, and we were having a tournament. China had come out to play against Australia, and I was in that team, but I had a fall, and yeah, I missed out. I was injured, couldn't play it.
So in 2009, you had a workplace accident.
Yeah.
And the whole idea about flow mindsets are about overcoming adversity, struggling through hard times, and you have definitely gone through a hard time with the workplace accident.
Yeah.
So tell us about 2009 and what happened.
Well, yeah, I just had a slight fall onto my bottom from, I don't know, a step, just a normal step. But when I stepped back, there was a gutter cable that ran along the floor so you wouldn't kick the cable and trip. My ankle fell onto that. I rolled down, landed flat on my bottom, and popped out a disc. So from there, I went into hospital to have it sliced down, and I had a perfect recovery for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then pain, just unbelievable pain got to me. And they couldn't work out what it was, and so they did some more investigations, and what had happened is my body developed scar tissue 3 times normal. So what happened is where the root and the nerve and I'm sorry, I'm losing the words here. Where the disc popped out, it had grown around scar tissue, so it was basically squeezing tight the nerve that moved when my body moved. And so it became extremely painful, and they couldn't operate on it because of what I do. I grow more scar tissue and it would just get worse. So from there, we come into some really hard times. Very, very painful.
So 2009, successful operation, and then 3 weeks later, pain.
Yep.
Chronic pain.
Yep.
So it's now 2019. It's been
Yep.
10 years.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about immediately after the pain. What happened?
What happened, I was just a mess. I couldn't work, I couldn't function. I was under a lot of medication. I wasn't coping with it. And of course, all those things just build up frustration and anger. and I was a very angry person to be near. It's unfortunate that for my family, for my wife, for my kids, some of my good friends, but it's been very, very hard, and I still am in pain most of the time.
So you're on medication
Yep.
24/7?
Yep.
Tell me how that affects you.
Okay, well, I have no memory of my life from about the age of 30 to now, and I'm 50 something this year. It's taken away my memory, so I have no short-term memory. So tomorrow when this comes around, you'll give me a ring and say, oh, that video was great, wasn't it? And I would go, what video? I won't remember it.
The support from your family, tell me about that.
I have been the luckiest guy in the world to have the wife that I have. She's a midwife, so she has a nursing background, and her patience and understanding with me is just a godsend. I don't think many people would put up with me most of the time.
So over the last 10 years with chronic pain, you've had the lowest of the lows.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about what's some of the lowest points.
Sorry, Stewart. Lowest points. So there's been a few times where I've been that unhappy that I didn't want to live anymore, and they were pretty bad times. And it's been what makes it so unbelievably bad is that my middle daughter come home on time once to catch me, to get me to the hospital. My wife has had to deal with the same thing, just not good times. Sorry.
No, the support from your family and your friends
Yep.
have kept you going.
Yep. Well, you know yourself, you've come around to be with me to stop me being stupid. You've been there a couple of times that I can remember. I know I've said that I don't have good memory, but there are things that do pop in and out of your head. So in the terms of this conversation, you've brought back some memories that I probably should forget.
So with trauma that you've gone through and the lowest points, what's some of the can't say really highlights, but what are the best times? What are the good times like?
The good times are usually just spending time with my wife and my family. So my middle daughter and her husband are going on a holiday to Hawaii next week. So we're getting together as a family. I think we're going to a restaurant, and those times are just unbelievable. Just to see my daughters with their husbands, and my son, whose girlfriend, she lives a long way. It takes her forever to get to our house, probably 25 seconds. She lives right next door. So pretty lucky for him too.
So you've got animals and, birds, pigeons,
Yep.
dogs, cat.
Yep.
What's a normal day look like for you?
Okay, just so that people understand with the animals require looking after, and one of the things that helps me deal with the pain is that if I stay busy, I'm okay. So while I'm thinking about feeding the cat, feeding the dogs, cleaning up, feeding the birds, just spending time with the animals keeps my mind active, and I don't tend to sit and wallow in self-doubt and pain because I'm thinking about something else. So it's been a really good way to overcome the pain that's there. So by distracting myself.
So distractions a great way to help manage the pain.
Yep.
Medication manages the pain.
We're slowly winding that down, actually.
What other management techniques or programs do you have?
I wouldn't say they're programs, but I'm very, very lucky to be in a pool now on my days that I go to work, and I'm just so lucky. It's a 25-meter pool, but I get to work in the deep end, and the water comes up to my neck when I'm standing, and so that ability to have no weight on my body really helps alleviate the pain, because I'm thinking about what I'm doing with the kids. I'm floating in water.
So you're a swim coach?
Yep.
Actually, you're a fantastic swim coach. You teach my son, Riley. And, you know, I'm very proud of Riley because he can swim so much better than me. And, you know, that's a tribute to his coach. And he actually loves going with Uncle Derek to swim lessons.
Well, one of the things that you probably hear from me all the time when we're doing things with Riley, and you say, why are you saying this, why are you saying that? I'm not teaching the kid to swim. Anyone can teach a kid to swim. We're teaching your son, just like I try and do with all the other kids, to understand a development process that they can then apply that to any section of their life. They learn how to think, they learn how to build and overcome problems, and all those little tools that they're learning, they don't just stay in the pool. They become everyday life.
Life lessons. So what does the future hold for Derek Garland?
The future for Derek Garland is probably more of the same. I'm very lucky that my wife tends to give us 2 to 3 holidays away every year, so that you know, again, it's given me something different. I'm thinking about something different. I'm not as focused on just sitting around the house in pain. And that was probably my biggest problem for at least 7 or 8 years. Just sitting around the house, doing nothing, thinking about the pain that I was in and not wanting to live with it. So just looking forward to all the trips away, seeing friends. My wife has things planned every weekend.
Next holiday?
Next holiday is to
Overseas?
Yeah, Sri Lanka and the Maldives. I hope I've got the 2 countries right, but they're sort of up there on the equator.
Nice.
I think that's what they are. My wife would be able to tell me wrong.
So she plans all these trips away.
Yep.
And get you out of the house. You got your animals, you got your swimming, and what's some of the other things that you do?
Well, I do all the housework.
That'll keep you busy.
Keeps you busy. We have 3 dogs, and they lose a lot of fur in the house, so there's a lot of cleaning up after them. So the bottom line, in case you're sort of wondering how this works, is every day is pretty much mapped out on all the things that I have to do, so I don't have periods where I'm not sitting around just thinking about pain. I'm actively moving, so doing the groceries, you know, whatever it is that Donna has arranged for me, going to work. That helps me manage the pain because I'm not thinking about it.
So there's a lot of people around the world that have chronic pain, that have to live with it. What's one message that you would want to give them that are going through something that's so personal?
I think it's hard. I think it's hard to try and tell someone what works for me is going to work for you. But you can, like the idea of, we talked about your son and developing skills to live that in different parts of your life. I think I can say, try to stay busy so you're not thinking about it. But that may not work for everyone, but it's a starting point where they can start from. So sitting around the house in pain is just going to make it go down, like your life, everything you think about. If you're active and try and deal with it and, you know, have timely medications so that you're not smashed out of your head all the time on painkillers. Excuse me, my mouth is totally dry. I'm really sorry.
It's all right.
So I'm not sure if it's very obvious for you to see, but I'm starting to shake a lot. Excuse me. That tends to mean that I'm getting close to needing more tablets. But that's a sad fact of my life, but it's something I've got to learn to live with.
Well, I really appreciate you talking with me about your personal journey from Olympic potential to chronic pain to the future in the Maldives with your beautiful wife.
Yes.
Thank you, Derek.
No worries. Thank you.